Tonight's performance is presented in cooperation with Homegrown, the Music of America concert series. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage the multi-ethnic East European band based in Cleveland, Ohio, Harmonia.
some Ukrainian mountain music from the Carpathians, featuring Mr. Andriy Pitkivka on the tilinka and Alexander Fedoryuk on the cymbalom, and of course, Stephen Greenman on the fiddle. Next, we'd like to ask Ms. Beata Beganiova, who's from Prešov in eastern Slovakia, to sing a couple of wedding songs. She'll tell you what it's about.
Good evening, everyone, first of all. Thank you for coming and for having us here. So I am originally from eastern Slovakia, and the songs are going to be in Carpato-Rusin language, which I speak. That's my mother's language. And I don't know how many of you speak that language, so I will translate the words. That work? This song is particularly sang at the wedding when bride and groom are kneeling on embroidered towel, on embroidered towel, and they're asking for permission to get married. And so the words are, "My dear mother and father, I'm leaving the keys from your house on a wooden chest because I'm leaving the house and I'm marrying a guy who I love dearly. And every night you're gonna be sitting at a table, having dinner, and there's gonna be an empty chair, an empty plate, and I won't be there. But please do remember, I will always, always love you." Here it is. Eko morina ladi, ključi moha biva, užjava mamičko, službu zaslužila. Užjava mamičko, užjava mamičko, službu Thank you. And this next song is the wedding song, and you might know, some of you might know this song. It's dance, it's a song and a dance. It's dance at a wedding at midnight when bride is dancing with everyone in the hall. They're forming a circle. It's a circle dance or money dance. They're collecting money for their future life together. And if they have 200 people in a hall, everyone's dancing. Here it is. Hop. Redoviše začíná, redoviše začíná, snaží družba načíná.
Now would like to play a few tunes from Romania. Actually, some tunes beginning with a tune that's shared by both Ukrainians and Romanians from Bukovina, a tune of the kind called Cântec de Jale, which is going to feature Andrei Pitkivka on the pan flute or the nai. We'll follow that with a couple of hora dance tunes. Mr. Stephen Greenman with the Hora Shaptaskari, the Hora of the Seven Steps. Before that, you heard Canta Kukul Primavera featuring Mr. Alexander Fedoriuk on cymbalom. And of course, Kontek Dejale featuring Andriy Pitkivka on the nai. By the way, if you like the music you've been hearing and would like to take some home, there are CDs available. Our latest CD, Harmonia Hidden Legacy. Of course, now it's not so hidden because you guys know about it. So there we go. Well, speaking of hidden legacies, I'm a third-generation American. You can read all about it in the program, I'm sure. Grandparents came from Hungary and from Croatia. Growing up, folks like me, we heard these kind of tantalizing stories from our grandparents about the music that they would hear in the village, about how there would be, the shepherds taking their flocks up to the hillsides, up to the mountains in the springtime, bringing them back down, and the type of music they would play, or the sorts of things that the women would sing when they were out working in the fields, and how it would echo back and forth between the various mountains. But of course, that was just a memory. Well, maybe Grandma knew a little bit of that, but you didn't really hear it the way it was, and our parents didn't really know it. But after the big changes that took place around 1990 in Eastern Europe, suddenly people who knew this tradition were able to come to the United States and share this with us and perform it. And that's exactly what it became. It became a performance. Nobody in Seven Hills, Ohio is out there raking their leaves and singing harvest songs. Would that were so, but at least this can be heard now. At least we're able to hear it, you folks are able to hear it, our kids can hear it, and hopefully it can be preserved in this country too. So we're going to present a little bit of music from that really rural tradition. This is not the sort of stuff that we play at weddings. You've already heard some of that. But the first song we're going to do is going to be from central Slovakia. It's featuring an instrument called the fujara, which our bass player over there, who's also our fujara player, is going to be playing, a type of flute. The name of the song is E Horo Horo, and what it says is a mother is calling to the mountains, and it's saying, "Oh, mountains, mountains, where is my son Yannick? Yannick is Johnny. Why doesn't Johnny come home?" Johnny replies, "Hlavka ma boli." In other words, my head hurts me because they've beaten me with axes. The next song after that is in fact a harvest song. Perhaps I can convince our singer to sing it when she does go out and rake the leaves, but I suppose I'd have to convince her to rake the leaves first. But this is the sort of thing that was sung while raking hay, and they sang it in these special voices so you could hear it. You could hear it a long distance. And I mean, I've been in Eastern Europe not so long ago, and still in some places you can hear this sort of thing. The girls will sing this in groups to one another, and then finally they end and saying, "Hey, let's quit our work and go and have a party." But first, E Horo Horo.
Ja by som išiel, keby som mohol. Ja by som išiel, keby som mohol. scompoli.
Poljana, poljana, вершко мальована, хто життя малював, або не шанував, хто життя малював, або не шанував. Поляна, поляна, на коляні копці, як то прекрасна тут наша хлопці, як то прекрасна тут наша хлопці. Poradski żeniczki, zaśpiewajmy naraz, żebyście panowie nie hańbili za nas, żebyście panowie nie hańbili za nas. Собі порадки ще не заспівають, дай їм подивися, ще органи грають, дай їм подивися, ще Заспівайме собі, хай буде весело, хай ся розвеселить, житко на зелено, хай ся розвеселить, житко на зелено.
Well, wherever immigrants from Eastern Europe settled in this country, one of the things that followed them was the institution of the cafe. And a cafe does not just mean a place to go and drink, and it really does not mean a place to go and drink coffee by any means. But it was a place where you could go and you could sort of find yourself back home for however brief a point. You know, because coming from Eastern Europe, generally from a rural place, out in a village, you know everybody, everybody knows you. It sounds pretty idyllic. You certainly feel like you fit in. Of course, everything wasn't so idyllic, otherwise they would not have come here. And that's something, you know, though we do have pictures of dancing peasant girls, raking hay and all of that in our head, there were reasons to come here, lots of reasons. But that still didn't mean you didn't miss it. And one way to get back of that, to get back to that feeling, was to go into a cafe where you heard musicians playing and singing your songs. We're going to play two sets of music that are from that tradition. In the second half of the set, we're going to play some stuff from the Hungarian tradition. We're going to play the sorts of music that the Gypsies would play, whether it was actually in New York at a place like the Red Tulip, or in Cleveland, Ohio on Buckeye Road. The sort of music that really brought people to that place. I once played it for a student of mine who asked me, Mr. Mahavlich, do you guys play this stuff because you're happy? No. We play this stuff to get happy. So that's what you're going to hear. But before that, we're going to play some music from a slightly different cafe tradition. And this is the music and a couple of songs that I really grew up with and that are old favorites of mine. The sort of thing that I guarantee you on Friday night and Saturday night, probably at 10 places in Pittsburgh, a similar number of places in Cleveland and Chicago and Toronto and Youngstown, there's going to be a bunch of Croatians and Serbians standing around in a bar room someplace singing these things. These are things I grew up with. They're from an area called Vojvodina, which is now within the borders of Serbia. It's the sort of northern section of it, real mixed population. The music's very mixed, but it kind of took the best of all of it. The first song says, Ciganka sam mala, which means I'm a gypsy girl, and I've got dark eyes and dark hair. And if you had met me sooner, you would have spent your whole life with me. And then the chorus says, the last chorus says, not in Croatian or Serbian, but it says, Pirav mange chavale, Pirav mange romale, which is in Romani, the native language of the people who are called in English gypsies, who also call themselves Roma. And they're oftentimes the musicians in Eastern Europe. And it means, I'm getting out of here, boys. I'm moving on, guys. So that, I suppose, was the little fillip that was there for the singer who was singing this. Most of the folks who sing this now, they don't know that. But you know, there, I've uncovered another hidden legacy, I guess. But, and the next song that we sing is a song called Evo Banke Cigane Moj. Because the tradition, of course, is if you're going to ask somebody to play a song for you, you give them money. You know, you don't arrange for overtime. It's not, you're contracted to play for 4 hours. No, you pay them directly. Sometimes you give it to the bass player, as we can see right up there, but more typically you give it to the primash, which is to say the guy who's playing the fiddle. And you say, Evo Banke. This means here's some 10 spots. Evo Banke Cigane Moj, svirajte mi vi. Play for me. He says, oh, I'll play for you and you're going to listen to me. A kad dođe onaj čas, and when that moment comes, we're going to open a bottle of champagne. And šampan obariće nas. The champagne will knock us over. If you know the words, sing along, even if you don't. So, Ciganka sam mala.
Mala, oči moje gore, igram, pevam, plešem, celu noć do zore. Ja sam mala, garava, ciganka, ja sam mala garava, crna tvoja ciganka, ja sam mala garava, crna tvoja ciganka, ja sam mala garava, crna tvoja ciganka, ole! Da si ove oči još ranije sreo, igra bi za njima, za svoj život sve zbog male garave, crne tvoje ciganke, sve zbog male garave, crne tvoje ciganke, ja sam mala garava, crna tvoja ciganka, ja sam mala garava, crna tvoja ciganka, ole! guys. Ja sam mala, garavo, crna tvoja ciganka. Ja sam mala, garava, crna tvoja ciganka. Piramage romale, piramage čavale, piramage romale, piramage čavale. Evo banke, cigane moj, sviraj mi ti. Evo banke, cigane moj, sviraj mi ti. Ja ću tebi svirati, ti ćeš mene slušati. Hej, evo banke, cigane moj, sviraj mi ti. Ja ću tebi svirati, ti ćeš mene slušati. Hej, evo banke, cigane moj, sviraj mi ti. Opa, come on guys, up. Šampan ćemo otvoriti i popiti. Šampan ćemo otvoriti i popiti. A kad dođe onaj čas, šampanj oporit će nas. Hej, evo banke, cigane moj, sviraj mi ti. A kad dođe onaj čas, šampanj. Take it over, guys. Hop. Do you like a little bit more? That's not enough, right? Alexander Fedoriuk, all of you. And Steven Greenman. Evo banke, cigane moj, sviraj mi ti. A kad dođe onaj čas, šampanj oporit će nas. Hej, evo banke, cigane moj, sviraj mi ti. A kad dođe onaj čas, šampanj oporit će nas. Hej, evo banke, cigane moj, sviraj mi ti. Yo! Thank you guys, thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Stephen Greenman on violin. Mr. Alexander Federyuk on cymbalom. Well, before we come to the end of our program, we would, of course, very much like to thank the Kennedy Center for inviting us back for a third time. So this is time number 3 for us, and it's great to be here as always. And of course, we would like to thank the Library of Congress who participated in this and helped make it possible to bring us. I also very much would like to urge you, if you like the music you're hearing, you can just go in the back and buy some. Harmonia Hidden Legacy, which was just released this past year. I urge you to pick one up. They make wonderful, wonderful gifts. And you know, you never know what's going to happen. Why buy just one? My grandmother used to say, in 7 years, everything comes in handy. And I think that's true, and you'll find that with this CD. But seriously, folks, let me take just a quick moment to introduce the band. Once again, you know Mr. Stephen Greenman on violin and water bottle. On bass, vocals, fujara, which is that big flute, and of course on buben, which is the drum, we have Mr. Branjo Brinjarski from Slovakia and now from Yonkers, New York. On a variety of folk flutes, we've got Mr. Andriy Pitkivka, originally from Lviv, Ukraine, now a Washingtonian. On vocals, Ms. Beata Beganyova, from Eastern Slovakia and now from Seven Hills, Ohio. I'm Walt Mahovlich, and I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. And this is Alexander Federyuk from Kolomia, Ukraine, and now from Seven Hills, Ohio. But I saved him till last because we decided we're going to play a couple of songs and dances from his hometown. And by the way, I noticed there were people that were kind of beginning to dance. Dancing in the aisles is perfectly permitted. In fact, we encourage it, no matter what age you are. So we urge you to do that, because this is a dance piece, actually. It's a piece that begins, it says, Verhovino Cvitkutinash. Highlands, you are our home, you are our world. And it goes on to say how wonderful things are up in the Carpathian Mountains. What I would give just to spend an hour walking through those green highlands with an axe in my hand and with a pistol in my belt as the water splashed along in the brooks. It goes on to say how much fun everybody has there. And then, well, there's kids, so I'm not going to translate the rest. But it's real nice. It's about mommy and daddy and how much they love each other. So, okay, without further ado, Verhovino and Kolomiki.
Верховино, світку ти наш, о, як у тебе тут мило, мов ігривот пливе ту час, свобідно шумно весело. Ой, нема то краю на ту верховину, так би мені погуляти хоч одну годину. Ой, нема то краю на ту верховину, так би мені погуляти хоч одну годину. Ой, нема то краю на ту верховину, так погуляти хоч одну годину. Верховино, свій путь наш, ой, як у тебе тонко, мові грибок, пливе ту час, собідно шумно весело. Опа! Ой, нема то краю, краю на ту верховину, так би мені погуляти хоч одну годину. Ой, нема то краю, краю на ту верховину, так би мені погуляти хоч одну годину. Ой, нема то краю, краю на ту верховину, так би мені погуляти хоч одну годину. Go for it, guys!
Thank you. Hoppa.
Thank you. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you.